Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. 4,700. By the time I'm done with this video, that number should help you understand why I've won, and I've won by far. And I'm very proud of myself. I'm not arrogant, but I'm very proud of the hard work I've done, how I've outmaneuvered the governing class, how I'm far greater of a man than they could ever imagine than them and all their forefathers combined, how I've truly conquered them, have they resorted to kind of frat activity, and I've manned up every step of the way, where no one was helping me out, but everyone was like helping them out. And I still conquered these cowards. So first, let's look at the picture on the screen. You see the first person there is Truman, a former president. And that quote there, I don't know if it's real or not, but it may as well be real because that's how these people think. He says that being the president wasn't the greatest honor of his life, but being a Grand Master Mason was. Now, most of you are probably thinking, well, that's stupid. You know, both titles are stupid, right? Both titles reflect a sort of privilege, a sort of despicable way of thinking that allows a worm to sink to such a level. And when you look at the rest of the pictures on the screen, you see an order that the Masons and the rich want you to believe in. They want you to think that it's that simple. As some kind of fancy schmancy dressed person is magically number one, and that the poor whites and Jews and LGBT people are magically the bottom of their order when you group them together as white Jews and LGBT, you know, white-skinned LGBT people, whites, Jews, that is, which is what they have historically done, right? Slavery, segregation, what have you. So take a good look at the screen and think of yourself as like an FBI profile or something. Why did they make such a dumb mistake as to persecute me, to ignore God's commands, and to become another powerless worm? And we're going to explore that in this series. Remember, I'm part black, part white. Okay. And I think that white people have clearly done me more wrong than anyone that's ever lived. That part's obvious. But I think that people who are pure black, if such a thing exists, would agree with that. Also, I want you to notice in this series that whether we're talking about Queen Elizabeth or King Charles or Elon Musk or some rich family, the Sachs, the Sacklers, the Waltons, the Mars family, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, whoever, regardless of what group we're talking about, we don't seem to see them as important. We don't think of them as having a lot of power, right? They're not some kind of great warrior king who is conveying power. They're just another rich person, nerdy person, beanpole, slug, some kind of occultist with a magic wand. And when we look at the child molesters, they're nearly identical to these people. You'll never see a child molester that looks similar to me in any of my pictures before they edit them. No way. You can clearly see the difference. You could clearly tell that I'm not gay, have a certain heterosexual grace, a divine masculinity mixed with a perfect grace that goes beyond everyone that's ever lived, thanks to God Almighty. That's just the truth of the matter. Again, I'm not arrogant. I despise arrogant, pompous, pretentious worms. I hate them more than anybody hates them. Like it says in Proverbs, the righteous detest the dishonest. Arrogant people are not very honest, are they? And the wicked detest the upright, and I know they don't like me. They detest me. Except for my kingdom is not of this world. The only loss I can really sustain is the loss of my flesh. Things will piss me off, yeah. But the scoreboard reflects that people who die every day, 189,000 people who die every day, are rebels. And about 4,700 of them, writing that number down, 4,700 of them are rich people and their family members. They're close family members. They're immediate family members. When you do the math of how many millionaires and billionaires are on the planet, 50 million plus, and keep in mind in some places 100,000 heirs have lots of money, but I'm just going to count it by the millionaires and up. So when my flesh does die, in that same 24-hour period, 4,700 plus of them will have dropped, many of them groveling on their deathbeds, begging for mercy. From who? From God, yes, but who else? From me, the Son of God, begging why their family members and their allies persecute me like complete fucking idiots. They're far better off taking a piss on their graves at their funerals than persecuting me. Do any of you doubt that? I've been saying this for years. They presented no counter-argument. There isn't one. And no one else has presented a counter-argument. There is no viable counter-argument. You get some kind of rock and roll idiot saying, well, he doesn't believe. Great. Every atheist that ever existed is a fucking dumbass. Dumb and dumber. They should look in the mirror and ask themselves why they're an atheist. And the answer is clear. Because they are a fucking idiot who's not capable of basic logic. What came first? You could hear a pen drop. Some of these people think that the answer is, well, what came before God or what created God? You stupid fuck. God is God and doesn't need to be created. They don't even understand that when they ask that question. No offense to that one person I interviewed in Santa Cruz, but these are the facts of the matter. When the governing class clashes with me, and they expect to think that they won, when they are dropping like flies, and my kingdom is not of this world. Every mulatto in this world has betrayed me. Every white person, every black person, except for my parents, are blameless, and they're old, real old. The people in their kingdom are dying and going to hell, and I will be exalted to God's right hand. Even the agnostic knows that that's the logical assumption, based on many things. One, that I'm the smartest person that ever lived with a universal scale, mind, body, soul, and spirit. When they put their heads together, everyone else on this planet has a different philosophy, but mine, one. I am the alpha, I am the way, I'm the number one. The smartest person, the top martial artist. Martial arts are lifestyles, the top lifestyle, the top life path, the top life way, the top life philosophy. The one you should throw in with, yoke yourself to. But the gap is so big that even though I've been going on about these things for years, nobody has. Not only are they not me, they're not even smart enough to follow me. 4,700. I'm in the 4,700 club, we'll say. From the 4,700th block, we'll say. They dropped, and they drop, and they will drop. What the hell can they say? Nothing. Not a creature was stirring in any governing class church or house, mosque or synagogue, not even a mouse, not a peep. Because the truth transcends their despicable excuse for power. And if they're so powerful, which one of them are the most powerful in the world? They're not even powerful enough to say, here I am, where my whole life I've been saying, here I am, and millions of people have heard. Because I am the top. Without control of the media, I still got my message out to that degree. And these are pussies who I have conquered. I am Jesus who conquered him. Horus that made him hide. Horus that trampled him. Horus that won the greatest victory ever, while they resorted to baby line, hazing, and sniveling gang stalking, and assorted baby line pussy ass kid tactics like that. Sniveling cowards. The whole military shivering under a blanket. Every military on this planet. Afraid to obey God because that's for men, and they're not men. Don't be mad at me, be mad at yourselves. And ask yourselves why there's not a pair of balls among you. That's who you should be mad at. If you're mad at me, then the gap increases. Motherfuckers can't even take responsibility for the fact that they're a bitch. They couldn't cultivate masculinity if their life depended on it. Because I am the top. And every time something they hold dearest dies, I'm in the spirit of God that made it stop. Let me remind you pussies again that I'm not some racial supremacist like you dumb fucks. My kingdom is not of this world. And I have conquered you fucking cowards. Universal pinpoint and moral precision has conquered your mere racial philosophies, you punks. I rest my case.